You want a solid 35mm autofocus lens. Don't want to spend too much money, fast aperture, has good optics, good image quality, character to the bokeh. This Sirui Aurora 35-1.4 might be one to consider. Let's get into it. Full disclosure before we kick things off, Sirui did send me the lens. I believe I do get to keep it, but they're not paying me for this review. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts, pros and cons about the lens, because there's a lot of things I do like and there's some things that I wish were just improved. So Sirui first launched an 85-1.4 as their full frame lens, and it was for the Z mount, E mount, and I believe, was it Fujifilm if I'm not mistaken? But then they entered the L mount alliance, and this was their first lens into that. And this 35-1.4, for being its first L mount alliance lens, doesn't disappoint when it comes to the optics. I mean, I've been trying here with the SL3, the Lumix S1RII, and in those higher megapixel ranges, this lens resolves beautifully. Now, it does have 3 spherical elements inside of it. It is a well-made, well-constructed lens internally. On the outside, we'll talk about that later on in this video because those are some of my cons. But in terms of the optics, I have no qualms or gripes about it. I mean, again, this is going to be more geared off what their cinema lens is, how they render a subject. And for some people that want a very clinical, very perfect rendering, modern rendering lens, this may not be exactly for you. Not to say that it's not modern in its rendering, it is, it's sharp, but the bokeh, the fall off has a little bit of character, a little bit of vignetting wide open. But again, that doesn't bother me because I like lenses with character. Now, if you're not that kind of person, you might want to opt for the, let's say, the Lumix 35-1.8 or the Leica 35f2 spherical summicron. Oppo's a different ball game, different price point, but in this ballpark of price, that's where you would kind of be at, or even the Sigma 35-1.4. The 1.2 from Mark II is a little bit more expensive, but you get where I'm talking about. By the way, I just want to give a big shout out to Rock and Roll Straps. Check out this beautiful leather. I think it's called the Mamba. Man, this is really nice in the SL3, guys. Soft, comfortable, long enough. You can have a different lengths, but man, Rock and Roll, they've nailed it with this. Just want to give a shout out to them because they sent this my way, and always looking for good straps for the SL3, S1R2, S12. And this fits those lugs perfectly on it. Hey guys, I just want to jump in here and talk about some issues I've been facing with this lens since I filmed that first portion of the review. Now, when I first got this lens for the SL3, they didn't communicate to each other. Sirui came out with a firmware update, which fixed that, which is great. But since firmware 4.0 for the SL3 and SL3S, I've been noticing some performance issues. Case in point, autofocus is pulsating. It's not really locking on, continuous or single. And sometimes I have to switch to manual to just nail focus. This is with the SL3. And then once in a while, I would hear this sound and a little bit of vibration coming from the lens when it doesn't lock on focus. Doesn't happen all the time, but it's one of those things that you definitely notice and you're like, ooh, that doesn't sound right. Something's wrong here. So I swapped it over to the S1R2 and S12, and the autofocus dramatically improved. So this could be a bit of a mix of a Leica Sirui communication with that camera lens combination. But I am still getting that once in a while. Hard for me to replicate on video here, but it's not something that you normally hear from a lens. Yeah, it's a bit challenging, but I will tell you the close focusing definitely is better with the S1R2, S12, so I can go to 0.35 meters, I can lock on, you know, I took some photos of my dog, it really does a great job. And here's the thing with this lens, I love the image quality, but these issues when it comes to performance, I gotta highlight to you. And I would say if you're in the L mount camp and you wanna pick this up, wait for Sirui or maybe Leica or somebody come up with a firmware update. Again, it could just be my copy of the lens. I want to point that out. Not every product is perfect, but I would say just tread with caution, number one. Number two, there are some issues that I have with the lens outside of that. I mean, the optics are great. Build quality is okay. Nothing to write home about. The filter diameter on this is only 62 millimeters. Now, on most full frame autofocus lenses, you know, the smallest is around 67, which fits with a lot of our VND or variable ND systems or filters out there. And the, I believe the 85-1.4 is also large, I think 67 or thereabouts. So why did Sirui decide to make something so small on this when it looks like you definitely could fit a 67 on this? So it does make it a little bit more challenging because you have to buy an adapter ring that's a different size. So it's an additional cost if you want to use it for video or whatever have you. So something that I wish Sirui would have thought about and sort of, you know, just made everything at least the smallest 67. Outside of that though, optically, as I mentioned in this video a couple times, I like the lens. Performance-wise though, I'm not too sure I can recommend it, at least for the L mount right now. E-mount and Z-mount, probably not gonna have an issue, but as it stands of January 21st, 2026, just be a bit cautious. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, like, subscribe. Thank you for the support, greatly appreciate it. And I'll chat to you all very, very soon.